Hi friends, it's Valerie. Welcome back to this week's What's for Dinner. If you are new here, I would love if you would hit that subscribe button and join my YouTube family. Today's video, I've got 3 inspirational meals for you, and they are all some favorites of mine, and one of them I kind of just threw together. It sounded really delicious, and let me tell you, it was so good, and it is like a pesto chicken sandwich. If you don't try anything, you should definitely just give that one a try. But like I said, all 3 of these meals are favorites of mine, so I hope that you enjoyed them, and if you could please leave a like or a comment down below, I really appreciate it, and let's just get started. This first recipe is an easy chicken stir fry. To start off, you're going to need about a pound's worth of chicken breast. Of course, you could use something like chicken thighs as well. I like to use the chicken breast meat, and you're just going to go ahead and cut that up into some smaller bite-sized pieces. I kind of like cut them into strips and then cut those down into some smaller chunks. And then I realized I wanted them even smaller so that I could spread this chicken out a little bit with all the vegetables that I'm going to be adding in. The recipe that I'll have linked for you is going to have a list full of different vegetables, and I'm not using any of those. I'm pretty much just using this recipe as a guide for the sauce that's in this. I kind of had a craving for these specific vegetables in there, and I was really wanting not Brussels sprouts. I was really wanting bean sprouts. So I'm just starting off by cutting up some broccoli that I had in the fridge. This is where you can just add in whatever vegetables you pretty much like in your stir fry. Use up anything in the fridge. I'm using this opportunity to use up a bunch of broccoli that I had. And then I had some carrots. I ended up just using 2 carrots, and I just grated them with my grater like this, or my peeler like this. And of course you could chop them up, julienne them, whatever you like. I find that when they're thin like that, they cook up real easy though. And now I'm going to be making the sauce, and for that I am combining a half a cup of teriyaki sauce with a 1/4 cup of soy sauce. I'm also adding in about a teaspoon's worth of this chili sauce, and then I'm just going to go ahead and give that all a quick little stir to combine all of that. And I'm putting a small pinch of pepper in there, as well as some of this bottled ginger and garlic. The recipe did not call for that. It just sounded like a good addition to the sauce flavors that I was going for. And now to my pan over medium-high heat, I am adding in some olive oil, about 2 tablespoons worth, and about 2 teaspoons worth of sesame oil. And then I'm just going to go ahead and add in my cooked up chicken. And I chose to season it with some garlic powder and onion powder, but the recipe does not call for that either. Again, that's just up to you and your preferences. And then just go ahead and cook that until all your chicken is cooked through, and then you're going to go ahead and add in your cut up broccoli and that sauce mixture that we made. And the linked recipe that I'll have does not really have any times on any of the vegetables, so I was just kind of doing it by what I thought worked best for me. So I kind of stirred that all around to get it coated with the sauce. I placed a lid on my pan, and I kind of thought that would help me just steam up that broccoli a bit, and every so often I just give it a stir and kind of check in, see if it was soft enough for my liking. And I would say at least 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes for that. And it's going to continue to cook a little bit more too, because at this point now I would add in my grated up carrots, and they're really thin, so they don't need long at all. They only need about a few minutes worth. And at this point you'll just see me adding in 1 of the carrots. I decided on grating another and adding in 2, so I did use 2 total. And there's the bean sprouts. I was testing this out and adding about 2 to 3 cups worths of bean sprouts in there. I definitely could have used the whole bag, no problem. I love bean sprouts though, so I could definitely have more of that, and that was the flavor I was going for. And I let those cook for a few minutes as well with the lid on so they would get tender. And I served this over some white rice, and I put some sesame seeds on it, and it was delicious and exactly the meal that I was craving. This next meal is a toasted pesto chicken sandwich. I've started off with a large pan over a medium-high heat, and I have some olive oil in the bottom there, and I'm taking about a pound's worth of chicken breast that is cut thinly, and I just pretty much halved the chicken breast, and maybe a little over a pound's worth. I just had whatever. This was all frozen prior in a bag together, so whatever it equaled out to is probably a little over a pound and a quarter. And I'm gonna just season that on both sides with some salt and pepper, garlic powder, and some of this garlic herb Tuscan seasoning. and let that cook for about 5 minutes, and then just flip it on over and cook for another 5 minutes. And once that's done cooking, I just set it on a plate and set it aside to rest while I work on the rest of it. And now I'm taking some of this everything French bread. You can use any bread you like, another plain French bread, just whatever you like. And I just cut that into some slices, basically however big you want the sandwich to be. And I cut that in half, and I am spreading a layer of mayonnaise onto the bread. And then I'm going to go ahead and take some pesto and also spread a layer of that pesto right on top of the mayonnaise. Next, I'm taking this Havarti cheese slices. Havarti is a cheese that I love very much. You can of course use provolone or mozzarella, and if you have only shredded cheese, go ahead and use that up. Make it work for you. And I'm just putting that on the sandwich, and then I'm taking these roasted red bell peppers, and I am putting a layer of that on top of the other side. And at this point, you just put however much you like. Then I am taking some of this Parmesan Romano Asiago blend. This is shaved. It's just what I have. You can use any Parmesan cheese, anything you have like that. It's just going to add another layer of flavor, and I'm adding that on top of the roasted red peppers. And you're going to go ahead and bake this at 425 degrees for about 4 to 5 minutes. And I broiled it for an additional minute just to get that cheese nice and bubbly. And I added that chicken on, so here it is all assembled. I served it with some of that leftover pasta salad I had made the other day, and I cannot stress enough how amazing this sandwich was. This last meal is a crispy chicken cutlet with Alfredo pasta. I am quickly just throwing together a little station to bread my chicken. For that, I'm doing a couple eggs in a dish with a splash of lemon juice, and then some milk on the other one, and some breadcrumbs. Definitely use double the amount that you see that I used there, because I had to refill halfway through. And I'm just going to go ahead and whisk those little chicken with lemon juice up. I'm using this thin cut chicken breast. You can definitely use a larger chicken breast and then just fillet it yourself, or pound it thinner, like a 1/4 inch thickness. And I'm just dipping that into the milk and then the egg mixture and then into the breadcrumb mixture. You can also use panko here. Whatever you like. I wanted this nice and crunchy, but I didn't have any plain panko, so I'm just using these Italian breadcrumbs, and I'm just going to show you one here, but you just repeat this process with all of your chicken fillets. And in a large skillet over medium-high heat, I have added in some oil and a few tablespoons of butter. You don't have to do butter, you can do all oil if that's what you prefer. And I'm going to go ahead and place the chicken down in there and let it cook for 4 minutes on each side. So 4 minutes I'm flipping it over, and then 4 more minutes. So 8 minutes total. If you're using thicker chicken, you will want to go an additional minute or two. And I've boiled some water with heavily salted water, and I'm cooking up 3/4 of this package of linguine for 1 jar of sauce. I'm using pre-made sauce, just this Prego roasted garlic. If you want to make a homemade sauce, feel free to do so. And I made a mistake here. I left some of that pasta water in there, thinking it would be great to thin out the sauce, which it would have been, but I left too much. I fixed it. It was no big deal, but don't be like me. And I also added a little bit of milk into that jar to get the rest of the sauce out. But to fix that, I'm taking some of this Parmesan Asiago blend that I had, and I'm adding that in there just by the handful. This is just to my liking. You can use any other cheese you have. Mozzarella, any type of Italian cheeses would work. Parmesan, just plain Parmesan. And I'm just adding that in, and I'm adding some black pepper, and I felt like I needed a little bit more cheese, so I'm just doing that. And I cooked up a bag of this steamable broccoli, and I'm putting that in there. Make sure to drain that well. And I'm just going to go ahead and mix that in there with the pasta and the sauce. And at this point, you can now see it's no longer runny. The cheese really thickened that up. This was definitely some delicious comfort food. It was perfect for this night because my boyfriend and I were just relaxing at home together, and it was his night off. We just wanted a big bowl of pasta and that chicken, and it did not disappoint. Thanks so much for watching, friends. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that little bell so you don't miss out on any future What's for Dinner videos, and I hope you all are having a great day.